Hello, you're with Calling All Stations. It is Tuesday, 24th of May 2022, which means only one thing, that this bad boy behind me has finally opened. We're down at Abbey Wood. It has just appeared on the brand new tube map. So let's go in, take a look and have a ride with the brand new Elizabeth line. So Rob's joining me today. You may remember Rob from videos when we used to go around visiting every single tube station. Yes, I know I never finished that, but anyway, we're going to resurrect that today. We're going to go down the Elizabeth line from here at Abbey Wood, getting out every single station and just having a nice look round. We could do the whole thing of this cost £18.2 billion. We could do the whole thing that the journey time to Paddington is 29 minutes. Frankly, there are probably 50, 100 YouTubers already out there who have already uploaded all the facts and figures. So we're just going to go down the line, have a look at each and every single station, basically so you don't have to. But believe me, you're going to want to.
Next station, Woolwich.
Interesting point to note, the branding is very minimal. You know, on the Jubilee line, behind the platform screen doors, you get roundels the other side.
Yes.
So far I haven't seen that. So it seems to be fewer roundels on the Elizabeth line. It's a lovely, big, warm, inviting space. Very minimal. I do also like the LED trims on the escalators going up there. And I'm a big fan, as Rob's about to show us, of the sort of open to the elements sort of glass casing around all the fire equipment down at platform level.
It's a little bit like a sort of museum of firefighting equipment. We have the water valves on this side and the fire extinguishers on this side, beautifully preserved behind the glass cabinet. It looks on the surface like a really basic rectangular structure. When you look at it more carefully though, you'll see everything is very slightly offset. These are more like a parallelogram, and then the similar goes for the canopy as well. Everything's just a little bit off axis, and that's because if you were to go and stand down the end of the road there, you would suddenly find that the building here lines up perfectly with the road and lines up perfectly with, I think, the XL sensor. So it doesn't make much sense when you're in it, but outside of it I think it does make a bit more sense, I hope.
So I think you have to come outside at Canary Wharf to really get an appreciation of the sheer scale of this station. Down at platform level, I was kind of expecting it to be like the Jubilee line station here, where they've hollowed out the massive dock and then they filled it in. It's almost vast and it's cavernous, and you can see sort of from the platform level all the way up. That's not so much the case here. It's sort of all boxed in. It's quite sort of understated in a way. There's some really clever things they're doing with the sort of the box lighting down there, and it almost looks like daylight. But to properly come and appreciate the station, you need to come out and see it from the outside. And Rob has brought me round the back, as he often does, and he's told me about these three vents here in the back of the station. This is to equalise the pressure from the tunnels below. So when the trains are moving, they move down the tunnels so damn fast that they create a lot of backdraft and forward draft. So you need these vents to equalise the pressure. And we saw that earlier on at Abbey Wood. We could almost feel the glass moving as a train approached. So very important in the design of the entire railway. I was going to say, can you hear it? But no, it's the DLR above us. So one thing we've noticed at Whitechapel, and I don't know if you can sort of hear the effect on the mic, on the camera, is how quiet it actually is. So it's not like the sort of big cavernousy, echoey, tiled tube stations. I don't know, like a Piccadilly line station that's like if you shouted it would echo along the platform. Woo! Thank you for the demonstration there, Rob. And that's because, I don't know if you can see, in the panels up there, there's sort of some fibres, there's some insulation. It's obviously deadening the sound, which is, I'm guessing, going to make A, for a much more comfortable passenger experience on platform, but B, it's going to reduce the vibrations upstairs for the residents above the station. Clever stuff. Anyway, we're off to Liverpool Street next, where we've got a little game that we're going to play, so stay tuned. Right, so some of the stations on Crossrail are so big, so long, as you can see, way down off in the distance, that they actually span 2 normal tube stations. So, case in point here at Liverpool Street, the Elizabeth line platforms run from pretty much here all the way to here. So, we're currently under the Moorgate exit, so Rob and I are going to play a little game here to see what is quicker. I'm going to go out of the Moorgate exit and get the Met back to the Liverpool Street exit, and Rob's just going to walk down the length of the platform and out, and we're going to meet at
the main entrance to Liverpool Street.
Yeah, outside
The tube platform.
Yes. So that was extraordinary. We literally crossed the gate line one after the other, pretty much.
Yeah.
2 caveats though, as you will see in my video, I got on the wrong train. We've been going westbound for the whole day, so I arrived at Moorgate thinking, yep, westbound, and then I got on a Chesham and I was like, that don't feel right. So I then have to change trains. So I should have been 1 train ahead, but on your trip...
Well, I thought you weren't in with a fighting chance, so I thought I'll walk at a normal speed, and I'm not even going to walk up the escalators. I stood on all the escalators.
Yeah.
So I was a bit slower than I could have been. You were a bit slower than you could have been, and we both worked out basically
the same.
Equal.
So you can be at the Moorgate end of the Crossrail platforms, go up, get a Metropolitan line train back to Liverpool Street, and still come through the gate line if you walk the length of the platform. So that shows you need to be at the right end of the train for your exit. So work it out for stations like here, and I think Farringdon, Tottenham Court Road and Bond Street, when it eventually opens. Make sure you're at the right end, otherwise you're going to have a long walk. So what I really love is the sort of design language of these stations. So on the surface, they're all very architecturally different. However, when you go inside at platform level, certainly with the core section between Bond Street, when it does open, and Whitechapel, the platform levels are all very similar, almost uniform in style, and there's this sort of sweeping curved pattern in the sort of tunnel lining and the insulation panels that we mentioned earlier on. That's sort of a uniform design language, but come up to street level and they're all very different. What I like about Farringdon in there is the sort of huge maroon pillars, which I think are mimicking the structure of the old maroon lattice ironwork in the old Metropolitan line stations. So there's a lot of clever design language that sort of is harking back to old and then sort of unifying the new, which is really clever. another really clever point of the kind of unified yet unique parts of all the design language. The unified part being there's been a lot of sort of spherical design, especially in the lighting. You've seen that at Paddington and at Woolwich as well, but they're all unique in the way that they've been implemented, but together in the way that they're all circles. And there we go, that was Tottenham Court Road, and I'm going to splice in some footage of Paddington because we shot that earlier today. We actually started there and then had a full ride out to Abbey Wood. So, yeah. Rob, final thoughts on the whole day?
Final thoughts really is it feels like a completely different city to me. It doesn't feel like London, it feels like, yeah, an improved mega metropolis railway for the future.
It had that feel of when the Jubilee line extension opened, that just felt completely different in the late 90s. It was like nothing we've seen before, and this is like nothing we've seen before, and the unified design language is really clever, and the lighting is fantastic. It's warm, it's inviting, the way all the kind of the panels sort of sweep you in, kind of coerce you in one direction or another direction. It's just really been well thought out. What I've noticed, people just using it, like we said this earlier on, they're just using it, and it's very easy.
You don't need an instruction manual.
No, it's very easy, it's very simple. So we're going to be back in probably a few videos time doing some races and finding out if it just is as quick as it says it is on the tin. But until then, we'll see you at the next stop. Crossrail Elizabeth line in one word, go.
Mental.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Huge.
Expensive.
Brilliant.
Well, my day has been mental,
Purple.
but amazing. You can't do it in one
Get yourself a
word.
drink.
and allow the enthusiasts and lovely passengers on the train present forward. Thank you guys, have a lovely day.
So what do you want to do today?
No idea.
Theatre?
No.
Football?
No.
Park? So why are you wearing purple today anyway?
Why are you wearing purple?
Hang on a minute, isn't that a thing from YouTube?
All the things there. Are you guys doing it?
Why are you wearing purple?
It's a purple train opening.
I knew we forgot something. I knew we were wearing purple for some reason. Come on, let's go.